Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a ton of updates to share with you guys about the Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein cover up. I have the latest Trump administration attempts to distract, to try to get eyeballs away from this and on anything else. Also, Gileain Maxwell's potential pardon, whole bunch more, and Trump world figures, more turning on him. I also have some very interesting audio clips to share with you from a recent focus group podcast, or not podcast, but a recent focus group of 2024 Trump voters. They are not buying Trump's spin. They're not buying this whole, oh, nothing to see here. This is a Democratic hoax. No, they're not falling for this. And I have some photos that I want to share with you guys from around the country. People are really starting to ramp up the pressure on this topic. So here's the deal. Last week, as you guys all know, Donald Trump's personal attorney, the guy who's currently the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, he went and met with Epstein's convicted girlfriend and recruiter, Gileain Maxwell. So they met, and they met 2 days in a row at the prison where she's serving a 20-year sentence. And let me bring this up for you guys. So what they're saying is, this is from Maxwell's attorney. He told reporters that she was asked about approximately 100 different people. So some news outlets are saying, oh, she gave up 100 people. She told them, gave them dirt on 100 people. That's not what it was. His exact quote was that she was asked about approximately 100 different people and, quote, every possible thing you could imagine, everything. And he also said that she, quote unquote, didn't hold anything back. Now, of course, Maxwell is angling for a pardon. She of course is not going to shoot and cook the golden goose who can give her that pardon. So anything and everything this woman has to say is suspect, besides the fact that she had already been not convicted, but she had been charged with perjury before. They ended up dropping that from the case against her that landed her in prison, but she was charged with perjury. And Trump is not ruling out this possibility of giving her a pardon. So he was asked about this during a press gaggle, and here's what he had to say. It's sickening.
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought
about. I mean, really? Like, we're supposed to believe that? That's what he says every time. Every time he has given someone a pardon, he's on record saying, oh, I don't know, haven't even thought about it. And did you catch his press secretary in the back, Kim Jong-Levitt? She is nodding along when he says, I'm allowed to do it. Sickening. It is sickening. These people all have children, and yet they're considering a pardon for a convicted child sex trafficker and abuser, by the way. She didn't just traffic these children. She, according to the victims, and part of the case that landed her in prison, says that she actually took part in the abuse, in the assault. I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to get demonetized, but it rhymes with grape, of these children. And as always, your party of family values, folks. Let's let the predators go. Or like Pee Wee Herman, I say let her go. And then let's remember, too, what else Maxwell is accused of doing. So Epstein's victims said she acted as a recruiter for Epstein and helped to groom them for the predators, at least for Epstein that we know of for sure. They said, oh, she made me feel safe, she made me feel special, and then she handed me over to Epstein. Handed them over to a monster. And I don't know if you guys know about this. I talked about this years ago in one of my shows, probably many of my shows. But there was an Epstein employee who had come forward. He testified against Gileain Maxwell at her trial. His name is Juan Alessi. So he worked for Epstein for years. His wife ended up working for him as well. And he told the Mirror news outlet that Maxwell is, quote unquote, the devil. And he said that Maxwell knew exactly what Epstein was doing. And, quote, she spent time recruiting girls. I was driving. I wish I had known what for. I would stop at a massage parlor and she would go in, take business cards. One time she had me drive to Mar-a-Lago looking for girls, and that is when she found Virginia. So he is, of course, referring to Virginia Giuffre, who supposedly took her own life in April because of the trauma. But, of course, we know why Donald Trump will probably pardon Maxwell. There's that 2016 lawsuit accusing Trump and Epstein. They had a witness. The woman had a sworn witness testimony or deposition of the abuse. And check out what Epstein had to say. This was in a 2010 deposition, and he was asked about Trump and underage girls. So again, very disturbing. That just kind of tells you everything you need to know.
You ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Isn't that interesting? Refused to answer. Didn't even say like, well, yeah, but we were in public and it was at like a beauty pageant or no, wouldn't say. Kind of tells you everything right there again. And the New York Times just shared this image. This is for those on the podcast, those listening on the podcast, I will explain what it is. Let me bring this up for you guys if I can find it here. So this is an image of a book. It's actually Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Comeback. Which should just be called, tricking people into loaning me money. But anyway, he apparently gave a copy of this book to Jeffrey Epstein. So the inscription here is written in Donald Trump's signature Sharpie pen, and it says, quote, October 97, to Jeff, you are the greatest. And then it's signed Donald. Not Donald Trump, just Donald. And yeah, it is very clearly Trump's signature. So Trump is rightfully freaking out. I mean, he knows this is not good. Let me bring this up. So apparently there was a Republican who was at the White House recently, and they spoke with a news outlet, I think it was Politico, and told them that when they were there, they overheard a conversation that Trump was having with someone, and he was fully panicking, and he said, quote, they're going to accuse me of some funny business. Yeah, not funny. And then Trump allegedly said that he has nothing to do with Epstein's crimes, but, quote, they're going to fuck me anyways. I mean, I guess now he knows how it feels, huh? We're going to grab you by the Epstein, Trump, because, when there's evidence of a crime, they let you do it. And more well-known Trump world figures are now starting to turn on him and throw the bullshit flag. So last week, this came out, if all of you saw this, but last week, the pardoned January 6th convict, Jacob Chancley, who's also known as QAnon Shaman, he posted on Twitter, quote, fuck Israel and fuck Donald Trump. And then in response to a Trump tweet, Chancley wrote, quote, "Fuck this stupid piece of shit. What a fraud." Yeah, I mean, when you've lost the QAnon shaman and bro podcaster and Trump voter Joe Rogan, here's what he had to say on a recent episode.
When Kash Patel was on here and he was like, there's nothing. And I was like, what are you talking?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what to say. My thought was, and people are like, why didn't you push back more? My thought was like, I'm just going to put this out there and let the internet do its work. Because there's nothing I can, the guy's saying there's no tapes, there's no video. That doesn't make any sense. Everyone knows it doesn't make any sense. And then he didn't know about the Michael Baden stuff, the autopsy stuff, where it showed that he had 3 broken bones in his neck, which never happens when you hang yourself. Even when you like leap from somewhere with a rope around your neck and it snaps your neck, you never have 3
and he's
broken
in a prison
bones.
cell. He's not launching himself off the first floor balcony.
The whole thing was nuts. And then he's like, well, we have a film. We're going to release that film. And the film has a fucking minute missing from it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think we're babies? Like, what is this?
Yes, they think we're stupid babies. And yeah, I mean, think about that. Kash Patel is the FBI director. He doesn't know. He's investigating the Epstein case. He's investigating, claiming that, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And if Epstein was offed, we're going to handle it, blah, blah, blah. Gets in there, gets appointed to the perfect position at the head of the FBI. And he has access to every record imaginable in this case, things that we will never see. And yet he doesn't know that the autopsy report showed that this guy had broken bones that are consistent with being choked to death. Seriously? Yeah. But it's not a cover-up, I'm sure. And then check this out. So this is a focus group participant. They shared his thoughts on Trump's post about how this whole thing is a hoax and, how people just want to talk about old news and that Epstein's been dead since 2019, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you guys remember that post. Anyway, take a listen to what this guy had to say.
The statement, it says 2019, but we're also still looking for files from JFK, and that was much longer than 2019, right? So we want to be able to uncover that kind of stuff. If like what Daniel is saying, that they had this paper, they have these documents, and they're saying they're going to share it, and then they don't, why is that not being shared? Why is it being taken back? Like, apparently there's supposed to be a list. There's a list of people that went to this island, and those people could possibly be brought to court, and some of those people are high-ranking officials and people from other countries that are royalty and things like that. So all of this, how can anybody let that go? Knowing that there's this apparent list and there's somebody in jail who was the liaison for the person and we don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a great point he made about, why is Trump still talking about and releasing MLK files and RFK files when, that was how many decades ago? And yet, when it comes to Epstein, who was just charged in 2019, died in 2019, 6 years ago, and Trump is saying, this is old news. And here's what another focus group member had to say. And this is interesting to me because typically what I'm seeing a lot of is that there is a divide, there's a gender divide on certain issues. So for example, when it comes to immigration, most men don't care if they're splitting up families, don't care how cruel it is. They're just like, whatever, I don't care. They're here illegally, get them out, blah, shouldn't have come here to begin with. The women, not always, but more so, have more compassion and are like, what are we doing? Like, we're leaving children without their parents. when it came to this Epstein issue, it's across the board. Gender does not matter. So here's another man talking about this.
It was all about the Epstein and the Pizzagate and all these, types of things until now. And like she said, Bondi had handed out the Epstein files at like part one or not, or the way she put it, well, now suddenly there's no part two, or why was there a part one?
Yeah. Why? Who stopped part two from coming out? So those were Nevada swing voters who went for Biden in 2020 and then they went for Trump in 2024. The vast majority are unhappy with Trump's presidency so far. And if you want to hear more of these clips, I have a bunch of their statements in the FAFO videos that I have for you this week. So be sure to check those out. Anyway, Trump is desperately trying to distract. He's trying to deflect with anything and everything. Not working so far, but here's what he has come up with. This is one of the latest. Let me show you. So he is forcing the Republicans, the House Republicans, to launch yet another January 6th probe. So he is trying to get them to set up a new select committee, what was already done by a bipartisan group. And no, he wants Republicans now to do their own, all his Trump humper, MAGA Republicans. And then he's also pointing the finger at other Epstein acquaintances, including Larry Summers, also, of course, Bill Clinton, even what's his name? Oh my God, his name is just escaping me right now. Dershowitz, who has protected Trump, who has stuck up for him, who has run interference over on Fox News for him over and over again. And Trump is putting out photos and talking about people that Epstein used to live with. So, yeah. And Trump's most desperate distraction is something about prosecuting Oprah Winfrey and Beyonce for giving money or receiving money, from Kamala Harris's campaign. And then, of course, again, Trump humping members of Congress are also trying to spin and deflect for him. So let me bring this one up for you guys. This just happened. I think this was yesterday on CNN. So Senator Markwayne Mullin was the latest to make a complete jackass out of himself on behalf of Trump. So this was again, a CNN interview, and he falsely claimed that Obama is the one who gave Jeffrey Epstein that sweetheart deal and that slap on the wrist back in 2008. And Jake Tapper, just want to rename him today. Jake Tapper had to correct him, and he reminded Mullin that no, actually Bush was the president at that time. And then also U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta was the one who made that disturbing deal with it. Appointed Acosta as his labor secretary. And in fact, Acosta had to step down. Trump had to get rid of him because when Trump's base found out that Acosta was the one who has ties to Epstein and gave him that deal, they were furious. So it's so sad that these Trump humpers are just grasping at straws and they're coming up empty. They just don't get it, that this is just an abomination, and they're trying to protect someone who is very clearly guilty, or at least that's the way it appears. And speaking of pathetic, so Trump's FBI director, Dan Bongino, finally crawled out from whatever rock he's been hiding under since this whole thing blew up and went viral, and he got in the big argument with Pam Bondi. Well, on Saturday, he posted this very cryptic message, basically trying to get the base to like chase after some new conspiracy theory. So let me bring this up for you guys. So Bongino wrote in part, quote, "During my tenure here as the deputy director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It is a priority for us, but what I have learned in the course of our properly predicted and necessary investigation into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned." And then he made some BS statement about getting to the truth and, staying with it. This guy's done. He's done. Like, he made a boatload of money pushing the Epstein story. And now he's proven he has no interest. Doesn't give a damn, does not care about anything other than the money and the power. He's just like every other Trump humper in this administration. And there's quite literally signs everywhere that this scandal is not going away. So check these out. So on the left is a Twitter post. This was from a Republican headquarters in Grant County, Wisconsin. And they complained that someone spray painted the roof of their building after they held a meeting. So it says in big red letters on the building, "Trump is a pedo." And then on the right, someone hung a sign from an overpass. I don't know where this was, but it says the same thing. Trump is a pedo. And then these also popped up. In these next images, you can see on the left, there's this giant white billboard, and it says, "Trump is still a pedo." Someone wrote it on there in red marker, it looks like, or paint, I don't know. And then on the right, I don't know if you can see, but there's people up there on that overpass. So they were holding up these block letters, and it's a sign, for those on the podcast, it's a sign that spells out GOP hides pedophiles. So yeah, a little play on words there. And every day for the past several weeks, there has been something about Trump and Epstein trending on Twitter. So this, as of last night, was the top trending hashtag. Again, for those on the podcast, it says pedo president. And then the last bit of news that I want to share with you guys, this I find to be the most telling. This to me shows that Trump is guilty. Everything is pointing to his guilt, but this is very suspicious. So as you guys all know, Elon Musk, when they started their battle, he posted and then later deleted that tweet about Donald Trump being in the Epstein documents. And Musk has been slamming Trump's big butt ugly bill. I mean, he has just been going hard at the Republicans and at Trump. Unlike other people, though, other people who've betrayed Trump, Trump has never really gone after Musk. Have you noticed that? Like, he's kind of, sort of, but like he's been uncharacteristically soft on Musk. And, he's had this mild criticism, but he hasn't done anything like what we've seen with other people. Like, he hasn't given him a nickname, and then all of a sudden, Trump comes out this past week, and look at what he said. I don't know if you guys caught this, but he said that he will, this was a CNBC report, he will not, quote unquote, destroy Musk and his companies. So he explicitly said, I'm not going to take away his government subsidies. This is so shady. This is so suspect, right? I mean, this makes me think Musk really does have the goods on Trump. And he would have been in a position to see and gather everything. Because as we know, he and his little Doge boy band, they had access to everything in the government. They were crawling all over that place. And so many of those guys that he brought in, they were hackers. So even if Trump tried to safeguard some stuff, they could have gotten into it. So if I had to bet money, I would put it on Musk having these documents and using the Epstein files to keep Trump in line. I think that's why Musk has said, like, oh, okay, go ahead. Like, have you noticed that he has not panicked when Trump has mentioned, oh, maybe we should pull this. Maybe we should have Doge look into some of Elon Musk's subsidies. And Elon's just been like, yeah, okay, do it. That sounds like someone who's playing with, I don't know, what's a winning, like unbeatable hand in poker, a full house. I mean, sounds like he's got like the goods for real. Anyway, I mean, if he had any ethics, any morals, you know, if he actually cared about something other than himself, he would release that stuff to the public. He would expose Trump regardless. But we all know Elon is no better than Trump. So anyway, guys, when I hear more, I will let you know. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.